I've done numerous informational videos about living in tiny homes, but I haven't done any where I actually interviewed somebody that's currently living in a tiny home. Today, that's all going to change. We're going to meet with Ellen, a 67-year-old woman who took a $6,000 shed and turned it into a beautiful tiny home. She's going to be showing us a full tour of her house. She's going to talk about the trials and tribulations she had by putting it together. She's going to be sharing with us what it took to get all the utilities out there with the water and the electricity and the cable and all of that, and all the issues that have come up since she's owned this tiny home since 2016. So let's go ahead and meet Ellen. You're gonna love her.
Hi, my name is Ellen and this is my tiny home. My story is I was living in Austin, Texas for 14 years and I decided to move back home. And I lived in a 1,200 square foot condo and was trying to figure out how to come back and have an affordable living situation. So I found out about this building that someone owned and they were going to turn it into an art studio. So this house is probably 8 years old now because I bought it, the building itself. She had bought it on a lot that sells outdoor buildings that people turn into sheds, but I made a house out of it. And I knew she wanted to sell it, so I decided to buy it and move it here to my son's land. He was letting me live on his property. He's in California. So I bought the house used and I basically gutted it out from what she had done to make it a home. And my main focus was making it affordable. They moved this house in April because of the rainwater, and then I didn't move until November of 2016.
Oh, gotcha.
It took that long with trying to get people to come out to work, and then the flood had come in August. The one thing, I love sitting on my porch. I used to have my bike. It's on my porch, but I moved and my neighbors are taking care of my bike now. And I bought this at an antique shop last year and I love it. And my little wind chimes, this glows at night. It's a solar light there. Here's my septic system. And the other part of my split level AC right here. Before they had a porch that wrapped around it, went into the house, and the builders came and made the porch across and made a bigger living area inside. That helped a lot. I basically just went with an open concept living area with a bathroom and a closet, and it's worked out perfect because it's nice and roomy. It's only 384 square feet. It doesn't feel like I'm living in a tiny space as much. But the main thing I made the build out for like $35,000. Which is what I wanted to put into it. And so I'm 67 and it's like I wasn't going to be drowning in debt at this age.
Now that we've seen the outside, we need to go inside, and she's going to be taking us on a full tour. But I have to know, do you think this is a good idea for her so far? What do you think of her little plan that she came with? Pretty smart, huh?
Okay.
Give us a little tour.
So here we go. Here's my finished product. So yeah, basically the cabinets were already here. She had bought these at Lowe's and I just used them and put a countertop on it. I bought the stove and the refrigerator, which is a nice size, and I added this island, and I bought that little cabinet for a pantry. I've added this. Everything's for storage.
After sitting there talking to Ellen for all that time on the back porch and she brought me in the house, my mind just kept thinking, how in the world does she know what to do? How did she know how to turn this shed into an actual house? It takes a lot of research that most people do beforehand. And what her answer was absolutely amazing to me.
I didn't know anything to do. My family helped me a lot. My brother had a business dealing with contractors and stuff, and he restores homes and elevates homes from floods, and he moved this building for me, and I just asked a lot of questions. I'm really just fortunate I moved this when I did. I'm so happy I did it. That was tough. My brother did help a lot because he knew a lot more than I did. I knew nothing about any of this until I just jumped into it.
Going through Ellen's house, I was shocked on how much room she actually had. Wait until you see how big the bathroom is in her closet space. But I was really curious about the sleeping arrangements.
I basically slept on my couch for the first 3 years. I've been here 5 years. I moved in 2015 at the end of the year. This house was moved in April of 2016. So now I sleep up in my loft, and I have a nice size bathroom here. That's great. It's a full-size bath.
Show me your bathtub. You have a bathtub.
Yes, I have a bathtub. It's my bathtub. It's just a basic. The tub was already here, and so was the toilet. I used everything that I could use that she had. And for price-wise, I just wanted it to be economical, and it was. I wasn't looking into spending so much.
Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. How much does all of this stuff cost? When you get a water well, and you get electricity, and you get gas, how much did that actually cost her in her budget?
It was about $6,000 back then for the water well, and the it's a deep well, and the septic system. Utilities didn't.
Because they already with the line.
Yes.
There was already a.
Yeah.
It wasn't raw land. There was already lines coming.
Well, I had to get a temporary pole put up for construction, and then they tied it in.
Right.
Dixie Electric tied it in later. That part wasn't too bad. And see, I would have loved gas, but I would have had to pipe it from the front. It would have cost me probably over $1,000, and so I'm all electric here. But my electric bill is hardly nothing. And I also have a tankless hot water heater. It's little. It fits on my wall under here. If you can get a picture. It's so compact. I'm never without hot water at all, no matter how deep I fill up my tub. It got clogged with some stuff at once, and my son fixed it, but even to replace it, it's not that bad.
Did the parish give you any trouble about putting in the house?
They did at first because it wasn't up to code. I had to really rip out everything and bring it up to their standards. The permits were kind of tough, but nothing like now. It was just you had to have a permit, get the house up to certain code. I didn't have to have a permit to move it here. It wasn't that big. Had to get licensed contractors and things like that. And then when it was finished, I had to inspect it. And
so the parish came through and inspected?
Yes. And then wrote a completion certificate for me so I could possibly get insurance or whatever. One of the downfalls is in bad weather, I don't like staying here. I'm getting a lot braver, but if it's really bad weather, I'll leave, of course.
One of the biggest questions that comes up when it comes to tiny homes on my channel is about the insurance. Many people have expressed how hard it was for them to find insurance for their tiny home. Even a couple I interviewed about 6 months ago, they had a hard time finding insurance, but they did find it, and it was quite expensive. So this is what Ellen had to say about insuring her tiny home.
Yes, I could not get insurance at all the first 3 years because they didn't insure tiny homes in Louisiana. And I kept getting in touch with this guy that was insuring them all over, and he said, soon, you know, we'll get it. And finally I did get some. But of course they don't cover anything to do with hurricane because we're close to the coast. It's a tiny home, and my house is tied down, and my house is set on 5 or 6, 1, 2, 3, 5 footings of concrete instead of a whole slab with house pillars, which I totally recommend also. I feel like it's a lot more sturdy, and it's tied down into the concrete. I don't have flood insurance. I would probably never flood. This whole land had water on it, but I had only a couple inches under my house. I'm good. I don't need flood insurance. Now, you know, if the roof came off, it would be probably covered unless it's hurricane. I'd like to get that inspected and possibly, I mean, it's fine right now, but I don't.
It's a metal roof, right?
It's a metal roof. I love it. I mean, it needs washing. It's held up great. Even during the hurricane, everything I didn't have, but water came through my front door. Had I, you know, barricaded it better, it wouldn't have even done that. So it's a very minor damage actually, but nothing else happened, no leaks, anything. Well, if anybody would know any other insurance in Louisiana that would insure tiny homes, I don't know of any. I would like to know. I mean, I've checked into a mobile home. I've checked into this being a little building out. I was thinking of even dropping it, but
just like any home, doesn't matter if it's a tiny home, manufactured home, a regular stick-built home, you're going to have maintenance issues that come up. Ellen explains what issues she's had with her tiny home, especially since it is a shed and it wasn't necessarily designed for long-term living use. The things that are happening to her home may not be typical for a traditional type of home. And maybe some of you in the audience could help her with some of her issues. I know that she'd be really grateful for some of your answers.
Yes, my paint, I thought I had a really good paint, priming and everything. I bought my paint from a reputable paint company, and now it's already peeling, which I guess is not too bad. And it is peeling like this all the way around. That's why I'm thinking I need to cover it, or maybe rip that up and put aluminum siding or vinyl siding or just corrugated aluminum. It's made to look really good on some of these homes, so I'm just doing research right now. Thinking about adding little humidifiers, dehumidifiers in my house, just the small ones, because it's a closed area and I don't have a lot of ventilation, but that's something I'm gonna look into. It won't cost much.
Now, she mentioned about the humidifiers, and I actually have the answer for her, so this is a surprise for you, Ellen. Look, right here, you can get them on Amazon. I have them in my bathrooms because the ventilation fan in my bathrooms isn't quite good enough, and they work fantastic, and you can dump them out about once a week. They're perfect here in the state of Louisiana because, as you know, the state of Louisiana has a lot of humidity, so those dehumidifiers, they work fantastic. That's for you, Ellen, and anybody else that has a small bathroom. The other issue about the termites, I do not have the answer for when it comes to killing termites naturally.
Yes, I hated to put that poison. I haven't treated it for termites yet, so I don't think I have any damage, but it's something I need to look into, is inspecting for termites and treating that.
Naturally.
So, naturally, I'd like to do more natural. We'll see. We'll see. So, yeah.
So I'm asking you as an audience, if you know anything that would kill termites naturally, or at least prevent them naturally with not a lot of harsh chemicals, could you please put them in the comment section? Ellen would be greatly appreciative, and she said that she would be reading the comments below. You have good storage.
Yes. Yes, and I've added a lot of things I could think of. I'm always purging. So I've got a dresser here, all my clothes in here, a washer and dryer. I love it. It's full size. Got this cabinet, I've got these. So
how much was that washer and dryer, do you know?
It was like $1,100.
That's not bad.
But it's perfect. I don't want it ever to go out. It's perfect. Because it works great. But yeah, and I've got a nice loft up there. And it stores, all of my stuff is here. Everything I own is here. It's pros and cons because now I don't spend much money on buying things. And I haven't decorated really that much because I don't have that much room. But sometimes I'll see something like, oh, if I just had a little more room. But you really don't miss it. I don't. Just every once in a while, I'll just have a little inkling of like, oh, I can't get that anyway. I don't have the room for it. So
other than her having like the best storage for a tiny home I've probably ever seen, the second thing I was super impressed with was her kitchen. You only got a taste of it at the beginning, so let me finish showing you what she's actually done.
And that's what I wanted. I didn't want any excess, and I'm a minimalist. And I mean, my kitchen, all my dishes are up here, which is perfect. I don't even need half of those. I can store things under here. I've got a lot of my other pots and stuff, some pots in there. Full-size stove and oven. And before, when the porch was not fully out, they had like a wall here. My oven wouldn't have even opened really. It was so small, so I mean, it was perfect that I let that out to add more living space. It was the best thing I did. Like I say, I'm always looking for new things to put things in and purging all the time. So I learn quickly.
You have guts.
Yes, I mean, I cried a lot. It was a lot of sweat and tears, but a lot of help from my family, and I asked a lot of questions. I do wish I would have researched it more, but I didn't have a lot of time. I don't like clutter at all, and it helps me to not be a hoarder and keep things neat. Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect.
I have to tell you, I think that Ellen is probably one of the coolest, bravest, most ingenious retired women I have ever met in my whole entire life. How many people do you know that would take on a project like this, not knowing a thing about it? At this age, I know my parents wouldn't do it, but after seeing what she did, I know I could do it. Let me know in the comment section if it's something that you could do. To watch some more videos about tiny homes, go ahead and click this video right here. My name is Kristina Smallhorn, your real estate whisperer, and I tell you all this because good real estate information matters.